Welcome to the best sports betting podcast, where we'll talk about reviews, previews, tips, and all things betting related. Brought to you by bestsportsbetting.co.za. Now, on to our hosts.
Howsit Punters, welcome back to the Best Sports Betting Podcast. We weren't sure if we were going to have some episodes, but unfortunately I was not able to fly. I will leave that rant for another video. But today we're on WSB, when Simon's with me. We're going to be chatting all about the Premier League, the Champions League, the upcoming Masters tournament, which I'm sure Simon is very excited about, some cricket, and we'll see what else we get time for. Simon, how was your weekend? A couple results over the weekend in the Premier League that shocked, I think, both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most shocking was certainly Chelsea's 5-2 home loss against West Brom. I can't remember West Brom scoring 5 goals in any match, so to put away 5 against Chelsea is quite something.
Yeah, and this is a West Brom who's fighting for for their survival. So, I mean, very surprising. And there was a red card in that one.
Yes,
I think it was in the first half. Silver for tripping.
To be fair, I mean, Chelsea had already conceded 3 at that point, so I wouldn't say that the red card is any excuse. But it certainly wouldn't have helped the Blues, put it that way. Yeah,
it was just not a great performance. But wow, shocking scoreline. And then another kind of shocker was Arsenal going down to Liverpool. And we didn't have an episode last week, but if I was going to put money on that game, I was going Arsenal. Actually, I did put money on Arsenal double chance. The odds weren't great. I think I got like 6-10 or something. I just didn't see Liverpool, getting a result on a kind of Arsenal that's, especially considering how both teams have been playing. One's kind of on the up, other one's kind of nowhere. And big shock for me there. I mean, Arsenal not even scoring a goal. I mean.
Yeah, it was a really one-sided match. I mean, in every regard, if you look at the stat sheet, it was just it looked like a top team playing a complete minnow. I mean, Jota, who scored 2 goals for Liverpool, looked really good, and I think he's sort of starting to live up to his high price tag now. So I think he's going to be interesting to look at in the future for Liverpool. But again, Liverpool blowing hot and cold all over the place. I mean, we can talk about the Champions League in a bit. But,
we might as well jump into that right now. I mean, Liverpool going down looked like a completely different team playing against Madrid last night, losing 3-1.
Yeah.
Not very confident Liverpool going forward. I'm afraid it's just too hot and cold at the moment.
Absolutely. I must say that game last night was almost eerie. I don't know if you watched it, but it was a completely empty Real Madrid practice ground. I mean, I haven't heard a stadium that quiet, I think, like since the beginning of the pandemic, when football matches were first cancelled. And I don't know, when you get to the business end of a prestigious competition like the Champions League, I think that's when the crowds are really missed, and it kind of makes me a bit disheartened to see these great players perform in front of no spectators.
Yeah, it's like having the World Cup in front of no one, and it's probably what we're going to see in the Euros in a couple of months, and the same with the Olympics, where they've announced that they're not going to be having anyone coming in for the Olympics. So it's going to be very strange to watch. I'm not really looking forward to that part of it, but hopefully this is going to be the last year of this COVID nonsense, and next year hopefully we can have the leagues back to some kind of sense of normality, especially in the UK, where they are rolling out the vaccine like nobody's business.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure about the PSL when in the next decade they'll be allowing supporters in with our vaccine rollout, but anyway. Then we had City beating Dortmund. No real surprises there, and I think we should just jump straight into tonight's tonight's Champions League action. Yes. Rather. We've got Bayern taking on PSG. PSG lost to Lille at home on the weekend. Both teams with red cards. Interesting match, probably the best of the matches tonight. The other one's Porto taking on Chelsea. I fancy Bayern here, to be honest.
Yeah, look, 19-20, Bayern are to win at home. Can't argue with those odds.
No.
PSG also haven't beaten Bayern at their home ground since the Champions League group stages in '94. So that's a long drought for the French playing in Germany. So, look, I don't like the match odds particularly. I'm not like jumping all over Bayern at 19-20, but I'm certainly not looking to back PSG. I think Bayern will probably edge a fairly close match.
Yeah, and just to put in put the two teams' forms into some perspective. I mean, Bayern have won their last 7 games. I think they've actually won 8 of their last 10, whereas PSG have been kind of winning but losing at the same time when they're coming up against stiff opposition, and they haven't been playing too well at home. Although I don't think this match is taking place at home. I think they're playing this one in a neutral stadium, or is it the Chelsea game?
Yes, Bayern are playing at the Allianz Arena in Germany, but Chelsea are playing in Spain at a neutral venue. Correct.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, PSG, as much as I think they are really like one of the better team, I don't think they're going to have what it takes to overturn Bayern at home then at the Allianz, as you said, and I think that price is right, and I think I'm going to be taking some of that price. I'm not going to say it's too good to turn down, but I just think this should be a pretty comfortable kind of 1-0, 2-1 maybe win for Bayern. Then moving on to Porto taking on Chelsea. This should be quite interesting, especially considering Chelsea's dismal performance against West Brom.
Yeah, I think this one looks a lot more inviting from a betting perspective, personally. I think the Portuguese are being a little undervalued here. I actually looked at this match and I kind of like the draw, but the price is a bit short for me. So what I'm going to do for this match is take a bit of a speculative punt on a 1-0 win for Porto at odds of 8-1. Obviously, they're the underdogs in this match. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but I think that they can overcome Chelsea, so they can nick a close game. So that's the way I'll attack this one. But I certainly think that Chelsea at odds on are too short in this match.
Well, yeah, definitely I agree. There's something like 15-20, and that's completely crazy considering it's the Champions League. They're technically still playing away. I mean, both sides are, but. I'm not interested in anything to do with Chelsea. I think Porto, draw no bet. Perhaps unders. Just looking at the last couple of games from Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of I'm just looking 10. I think 7 of the last 10 games have gone under 2.5 goals when they're playing away from home. But I'm sure the odds aren't going to be all that great on taking unders. You're looking at about 13-20. It's just not good enough for me. But I think I might be getting involved in some Porto draw no bet. That's where I see some value. I do think it's going to be a draw, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's kind of my thinking there, sort of combining those two ideas, getting with Porto and obviously unders. Obviously, it's an 8-1 shot, so it has got a small chance of coming in, but that's the way I see it. But I think a low scoring game is what we'll see. And
then this weekend, Simon, Premier League, we've got City taking on Leeds. Not too many interesting matches. I mean, a couple of kind of big teams taking on minnows, if you want to call it that. We've got Tottenham versus United, which is definitely the highlight of the card. And then I think Sheffield United against Arsenal, where hopefully Arsenal will be picking up a win there. But what are your thoughts on the Spurs game?
Yeah, as you said, not too much on Saturday really catching my eye. But the headliner is most certainly Spurs hosting United. I was quite surprised actually to see United the favourites in this match. Despite Spurs have won their last 5 matches, look, United managed to beat City and AC Milan on the road recently, and I think that might be pushing this price a little lower than it should be. But I really can't justify Man United position as favourites here against Spurs. Maybe sort of a similar price, but favourites I'm not quite sure. I mean, there are sort of 11 points separating the teams on the table. But if you look at the form table for the last 5 games, there's only 1 point separating them. So, look, it's not a big position for me, but I certainly prefer Spurs draw no bet at around even money than backing United here.
Yeah, just looking at the teams that United have managed to beat on the road, they're not overly impressive sides. I mean, okay, other than the a couple of key wins here and there, they just haven't had the best results on the road. But then again, they have also had a couple of tough fixtures. And speaking of stuff, so just jumping away from this game for a second. Well, I'll get to it afterwards. But yeah, so Spurs, I don't know, I can't trust them. I just can't trust Spurs at the moment. I think I'm going to be staying away from this game. I'll be watching it as a neutral. I really cannot place a bet on Spurs, even though that's where I would like to put my money on something to do with Spurs. Maybe both teams to score or something like that. But once again, it's just my confidence in Spurs at the moment is completely shot. Even though I think there is value backing them, I'm just going to be staying away from this one.
Yeah, I agree with that, Rob.
But then I actually wanted to chat. What I wanted to chat about earlier was West Ham Leicester. Now that's actually quite an interesting matchup. I mean, who would have thought that you would have had Leicester sitting in third place, followed by West Ham in fourth? This is a battle. Don't want to say it's a battle for third, but I mean this is a Champions League battle, Simon.
Right,
It's West Ham and Leicester. Yeah. As it stands, I mean, look, we've got Chelsea and Spurs and Liverpool to an extent, not too far away. But I mean, if these teams can continue their form, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them in the Champions League next season.
Sure. I mean, look, I think Leicester certainly got the better chance, and of course, none of us will forget their 5,000-1 victory a few years ago, winning the EPL altogether. So yeah, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, this match just screams draw for me. I don't think either of these sides really want to lose this game, because it's one of those kind of, it's more than just 3 points. It's almost like a 6-pointer game. You're taking 3 points off your opposition and grabbing 3 for yourself. So I think a draw here is a really good bet. Maybe an unders draw. That's a sneaky little bet that I think I'm going to have. Maybe a 0-0 draw between West Ham and Leicester. I think that's going to be my outsider of the weekend. If it comes in, you'll be hearing all about it next week. But look, not a confident call, but I think you'll get some cracking value on that one. Then we've got Sheffield United taking on Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal 1.6. I'm just looking at that price. I don't want to get involved. It's really not. As much as I want to back Arsenal here, Sheffield are terrible. It should be a dead rubber game, really. But yeah,
I think if you're looking to back favourites this weekend, I would far rather go with Chelsea and Liverpool as favourites, both at around 1.6, 6 to 10. Those look better. I would leave Arsenal alone.
All right, so yeah, stay away from Arsenal. I think that's what I'm gonna say as well. Then Simon, you wanted to chat about some of the upcoming cricket, or the cricket that's been taking place. South Africa, Pakistan.
Yeah.
It's actually live at the moment. One of the matches. That's
right. Yeah. So right now, Pakistan are doing pretty well. The run rate's pretty high as well, 206 for 2. So yeah, it's been an interesting few games. On Friday, South Africa lost the first ODI against Pakistan in a real nail biter. It went down to the last ball. I must say that although the quality of the cricket was left a little bit to be desired, it was a great match to watch. I mean, there were down for the last 15 overs. The run rate just stayed at 6 and over. So it was a runnable right to the end. And then there was a terrible ball by Palaquaya, which meant we couldn't salvage a draw. And then Sunday,
our wicket's just fallen. That's good news for us. Just to interrupt.
Oh, there we go. Absolutely right.
There goes the Centurion.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a great game, the first ODI, and then last time out on Sunday, it was an interesting one because we looked in complete control for the entire match. But Pakistan actually made it a lot closer than expected. The opening batsman Zaman scored 193 with a strike rate of 125, which is a very big strike rate to withhold for that many overs. But they finished 17 runs short of our total of 341. So that was another good game. I mean, I think we should have beaten them by a bigger margin, but it was good. It was so good to see De Kock, Bavuma, Van der Dussen, and Miller all score more than 50. I mean, I can't remember the last time that's happened. It feels like it's been years. But we had a really, really great batting performance from our top orders, so that was good to see. Yeah, and this one, Pakistan was 7 to 10 favourites, which I thought was actually a bit short. I would have put the teams at sort of much closer. Maybe Pakistan 8 to 10, South Africa even money. So I think there was probably a bit of. I mean, it's easy to talk now with the game underway, but. Pakistan looked pretty good, but I actually saw a little bit of value in South Africa this morning. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think if you're still looking for a bet, it's probably that the value would have increased, and I'm sure you're going to get. Just looking now, South Africa are now 3 to 1. So
yeah,
it's going to be a bit of a tough one for the Proteas to get a result out of this. But hopefully we can get something out of the series and just get some good performances. I think is
absolutely
just really something that we do need at the moment. But we're going to be chatting about the Masters as well. We're going to keep that for a separate episode, which I will post right after this one. I feel like that one can stand quite nicely by itself. So we're not going to touch on it in this podcast. So if you are looking for that, keep an eye on the Bet Sports Betting channel. We'll have this posted right up after this podcast. Instead, we're gonna have a quick chat about a bookmaker in South Africa called Yesplay. Let me quickly hop over to the Yesplay site. Simon, you've been doing some write-ups on Yesplay. You want to tell me a little bit about what they have to offer, what you think of them in general? You know, we spoke briefly on it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they Yesplay. I mean, they're a fairly new bookmaker, but they have been around a while. What I do like about them, their sports offering is not incredible. They have a decent range of sports, but there are some that are missing. I mean, Formula One, golf. There are a couple that are just kind of obvious holes there. No horse racing either. But their live games offering is what's worth talking about. I mean, they've got some quite unusual ones as well. I mean, Pragmatic Play and Mega Games are two software developers which have games on their site which you can't really find anywhere else. And they do have quite a nice sign-on bonus, which is 1,000 Rand for your first deposit, as well as a risk-free bet, which, you know, so if your first lucky numbers or any live games bet loses, you're going to get $100 back again.
Okay.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the site, Rob?
I mean, it kind of looks to me like they're trying to rebrand themselves as something like Lottostar, in the sense of just having a look at it and what they have. I mean, they definitely a bigger focus on their games and their lucky numbers and those kind of things rather than sports, even though it's called Yesplay Sports Betting.
Yeah.
So interesting kind of strategy from them there. And, you know, I do have to say that I have been quite annoyed by them in the past. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if it's them or their marketing firm keep posting these glowing reviews or glowing praise on the review we have on Best Sports Betting. And, you know, on the back end, we can actually see that it's the same person posting. And so it does come across as a little tacky when that happens. But otherwise, it's great to see new products. I see they've got this Mega Wheel game, which I'm quite keen to check out.
Yeah.
Looks like a kind of Dreamcatcher clone. But, you know, the more the merrier, I say. And I'm glad that we do have an kind of an option that's different to Lottostar in the sense of a pure lotto and lucky numbers site. The site looks pretty cool. It looks pretty basic but nicely laid out. I see they've also got the option to go back to the old site. The sports betting has never really kind of... just looking at the sports betting, I don't want to look at it anymore, so let me click away from that.
Yeah, the markets are also fairly limited. So as I said, you won't find all the sports there. You'll see most of the main ones there, but the markets are also fairly limited. You know, so someone like a Hollywood Bets or a Betway will have at least sort of 400 EPL markets per game. They've got much closer to 100. So there is a limited range of markets. One thing I think is pretty cool, though, they do have a lot of deposit options, which does include vouchers, and you can also make ATM withdrawals. Which a lot more bookmakers are doing now, which I think
cash send withdrawals are great, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, but yeah, in terms of, you know, if you want your bells and whistles for sports betting like cash outs and bet builder and even sports specific promotions, they're lacking. So, you know, it's not exactly if you're mainly a live games player and have the odd sports bet, to be recommended maybe, but you know, if you're primarily a sports bettor, it's not really for you, I would say.
Yeah, and just going back to something that we've mentioned a few times about the advantage of having several accounts of several bookmakers. Here's another good case in point. I mean, as Simon mentioned, if you're into your lucky numbers and live games, this is probably a good site for you. But it's also good to have backups because at the moment, super bets are down. I'm not really sure why they're down. They've been down for over 24 hours. Clearly, there's something wrong at super bets. And super bet punters are incensed because they can't get their bets on. Now, you wouldn't be having this problem if you had accounts at other bookmakers. It takes you 2 minutes to open up an account. There really is no excuse.
Of course, and the benefits are massive. Of course, you're going to get that juicy sign-up bonus. You're going to have access to more odds. You're going to have access to more markets, to more games. So you really have nothing to lose by signing up at multiple bookmakers, and you can just get the best of both all the time.
Exactly. I mean, look, it's a different story if you've got money sitting in a bookmaker like Superbets and then they go offline and you can't access your money. But if you're wanting to get your bets on, then open I don't want to say as many accounts, maybe a couple accounts. I want to say maybe 2 to 3, I think would be a good number. And that way you can cover all the bases, especially in South Africa where there's so much on offer at the moment. But yeah, guys, that's where we're going to call it a wrap. We're going to jump over to our Masters preview. So look out for that one, as I mentioned earlier. And thanks for joining me, Simon. And we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to visit our site, Facebook and Twitter pages. Let's go make some money.